Well, these readings just keep getting better and better and better. This first reading from Wisdom was written about 50 years before Jesus was born into this world. And I've never read any commentator who says that they were written specifically for Jesus. I just haven't. But like a lot of things from the Old Testament, they apply to Jesus. And this one particularly because, and it shows something about the Jewish spirituality. Look at what it says about a just man or just woman, but the just one. The just one is somebody who walks with God and God walks with them, and they are always at this place of peace with God. And that is opposed to what? The sinner. The sinner who turns away from God, walks away from God, who, as the scripture said just the other day, they don't look at his face, they turn their back to him. It reminds me of I think it's particularly true in the Latino custom. I think maybe particularly Mexican. I'm not sure if it's limited to that. But I notice the little servers also learn it. You'll notice they come up to the altar, they give me something, and they don't turn around, walk back. They never turn their back. They go like this, and then they turn and walk away. And it's that spirituality of the Old Testament, not to turn your back on God, but always squarely look at God because we trust him and love him. But then what we did as a church, and what we do so well, is we took this reflection about the just man, any just men, all just men, and we apply it specifically to Jesus Christ as the just one, the Son of God. And all of the language fits because, again, it's part of that spirituality, but it fits so beautifully with Jesus. But listen, in fact, what it also says. And this shows the snarkiness of the people who were sinful and jealous and hateful. It says this, "For if the just one be the Son of God," this is any just man, "he will defend him, God will defend him and deliver him from the hand of his foes." But listen to what they say that their plans are. "With revilement and torture, let us put him, the just man, to the test, that we may have proof of his gentleness and try his patience." Wow. "Let us condemn him to a shameful death, for according to his own words, God will take care of him." Well, that's what we see in the cross. They reviled him. They tortured him. They beat him and spit upon him. They nailed him to a cross and hung him on a cross to die. And when they did all of that torturous, hateful, murderous stuff to him, he showed his trust in God even more. And instead of turning into a sinner, he loved even more. He forgave even more. And so these words apply so beautifully to Jesus. But it's the gospel that puts another twist on it or deepens the understanding. Because only in John's gospel does Jesus refer to his hour, the hour. And of course, he's never talking about a 60-minute hour of time. His hour is his death and entombment and resurrection. And even, I suppose, the sending of the Spirit. But it's this salvific stuff of Jesus that 2,000 years later still centers us. And so as we come upon this Holy Week, we're going to dramatize it, read the Passion 2 different times, 2 different scriptural authors. We're going to enter into the experience of the Last Supper. We're going to reenact it and reenact the washing of the feet, because all of these events leading up to the death and resurrection, the hour of Jesus, becomes so powerful and so sacred. So the question for me becomes this: is it possible that we're being called, us, to be just men and just women? Is it possible that we too, when we are brokenhearted, says the psalm, that we can feel that the Lord is closer to us more than ever? And not, I don't think, because he is actually closer, because I think he's always holding us in his hands, but we open up to him more in our brokenheartedness and in our suffering and struggle, that we let his love in more because we need it so much more. So as we enter into the great drama of the hour, the great hour of Jesus, the question becomes, what does that hour do to us? What does this whole celebration and reenactment of his death and resurrection do to us? And does it bring us his healing love, his grace, and new life? Please stand.